I've learned that people often form first impressions about you based on 1, how you look, and 2, how you sound. So in this video, I'm just going to share with you 3 techniques that helped me improve how clearly I spoke. Now, it wasn't always like this. Here's a clip of me practicing for my medical school interviews around 4.5 years ago.
We obviously don't want to have a small sample size, and we must know the outcomes of the treatments that we are prescribing to patients before giving them the medications.
As you can tell, it wasn't very clear, and this half Singaporean, half Kiwi accent often caused a lot of people to ask me to repeat myself, which I found frustrating. And now, after working on my speaking, I often get compliments about my voice. So I went from someone who was, practically mumbling to getting compliments. And I did this using these 3 techniques. Now, I have to admit that it's still a work in progress. It's not perfect yet, but I'm pretty happy with how it's progressing. Now, firstly, the first technique that I did was record myself. And I did this for content creation, and I did this for medical school interviews. Now, I know it's going to be super painful at first. Like, I didn't enjoy listening to my voice when I first started recording myself. Had to, barely listen, barely look. I just found it very almost embarrassing. But over time, I kind of got used to it. And the more and more I practiced and analyzed my own voice, because I knew what I wanted to sound like and I knew the way certain words should be pronounced, but I wasn't pronouncing that way. So over time, with a lot of iterations and practicing opening my mouth more and saying the T at the end of that, things like that, over time helped me improve my clarity. So I just pretty much heard what I sounded like and tried to iterate on that, then recorded myself again, then iterated on that, and over time it got pretty good. So yeah, I recorded myself. And another thing I do to wrap my head around this practice is I acknowledge that if I use my phone to record myself, this is me recording myself with my phone, just holding it in my hand. I'm just going to sound, less clear, less sharp than if I was using something like this Rode pod mic, because this microphone makes my voice sound a lot better. So that's how I, accept my voice a bit easier. All right, technique number 2 that I did, I found speakers that I really liked listening to. For example, Ferriss and Jason Capital. I just thought their voices sounded amazing. So what I did, I'd play a YouTube video from their channel for one sentence, and then I'd pause it and I tried to repeat what they just said. Not in their accent, but just as clearly as they said it. So I did this for maybe 5 minutes a day. I wasn't very consistent with this, but I still did it for a period of time. So sentence, pause, repeat. They say something, I pause the video, I try to repeat what they said. All right, that's technique number 2. And lastly, the last thing I did was I hired someone to analyze my accent. So I found this guy on Fiverr. His name is Steven, and the service is called I Will Give You Accent Reduction Lessons for American English. And I bought the middle tier package, which is $30 plus a small fee for Fiverr, I believe. So what happened was I sent him a 2-minute recording of myself. I also sent him the link to my YouTube channel. And then he came back with a paragraph of feedback that I could do to improve my accent. For example, do this when you say these type of words, and you need to practice this. And there was like a whole page of feedback. And then we hopped on a Zoom call as well, and he explained each of the pieces of feedback, and we went through a few exercises, and I wrote these down eventually after recording the Zoom session. And whenever I got free time, I just practiced what he told me to practice, and I just ripped it out over time. And I feel like this ironed out the wrinkles in the way I spoke, and I think it's one of the best uses of $30 I have ever made in my life, because I feel like my speaking has improved significantly. I'm not adopting the American accent. He just helped me improve the clarity. So shout out, Stephen. So those are the 3 things I did to improve how clearly I spoke. So number 1, I recorded myself, gave myself feedback, and tried to iterate on the way I spoke. Number 2, I tried to repeat after speakers that I thought sounded good. And lastly, number 3, I hired someone to analyze my accent and provide me feedback. So hopefully these 3 exercises will help you speak more clearly so you don't have to endure people asking you, can you repeat that again, any longer. So thanks for watching. My name is Junius. See you in the next one.